bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be. You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, will that make you good? You're not good. You just know how to hide.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy SPX coming to you with another video. And this time we want to talk about why is it in vain when it comes to good-spirited, good, positive people. I mean, anything that relates to being good, it's like, this is something that I feel like I wanted to address, because no matter what you do in life, no matter if you have a good idea of trying to change the world, or if you're a good performer, or if anything that is positive in your life, or something is positive for life, it seemed like what I'm trying to speculate is why is being good, or the concept of good, is not good on some people's eyes, where every time you turn around we have a lot of people who died for trying to do something good for the world, like the good die young type shit. Like, rather if it's like Martin Luther King, rather if it's like Malcolm X, rather if it's like Tupac, Biggie, Nipsey Hussle, what we lost recently, rather if it's like Dr. Sebi, rather it's like anybody who's positive, they tend to die, while the bullshit, the fakeness, the conniving and evil and wicked still prosper. You know, and not even just that in that case with just dying of goodwill, but even in relationships where if you do good for the person and they never did nothing back. So the whole concept of being a good guy, the nice guy, you know, that's what I mean by that. Why can't we see more good in this world than we see too much bullshit and bad shit going on in this world? So the reason why I say this is because, I mean, this is something that I had to think of my subconsciousness too, is that, you know, if you guys know me personally or don't know me personally, but the way how I present myself is, I believe deep down inside I'm a good guy. And by saying so is because I know who I am as a person. I don't try to conflict any negativity towards people who are good, or just respecting people. So one thing I cannot really tolerate is a negative, closed-minded individual, aka an asshole. You know, rather, in my life, I would always say that, you know, when you went around negative people, you will learn so much about them, and you know what you're worth. Most people will hang out with negative people because that's the way it is, you know. And if you feel like you can't take that negativity, that toxic, rather if it's friendship, relationship, or just society, you gotta draw away from that type of environment, you know, or those type of people. So to me, I feel like when you have an idea of what you're trying to do, what your intentions are doing, and there's good intentions to it, one thing's for certain is that no matter what you do, rather if it's a good thing or not, in somebody's eyes, you're the bad guy in their story. And this is a quote that I have pretty much read when I was browsing online on Instagram or whatnot. I can't remember what social media I was on, but there was this one post that I saw which I feel like that's actually right and that's accurate. However, being the good guy doesn't make it seem like you're going to be 100% good. Well, by all means, is good guys would pretty much make mistakes. Good guys will kind of like lose focuses on their, their principles. But that doesn't highly make them feel bad if they just did one or two things. I mean, we're humans, we're about to make mistakes. But the difference between a bad person and a good person is a bad person don't care about the consequences. They have no remorse of what they're doing. A good guy has some type of remorse, of some kind of sympathy. A good guy is a little bit more conscious than a bad person. But that doesn't mean a bad person doesn't have a certain type of balance of consciousness. I think that it's just a life choice and a lifestyle to be good or bad. And my intake of being a bad guy is where if you're the bad guy in this world, we gotta say is that there's so many bad guys, the evil villains, than superheroes. By all means, like gangs are running the country. We have a government that is toxic. The police are not being the police or not doing their job, and they're killing people who they think is the bad guy. So I'm saying in that term, where if you're a black person living in America, in white America's eyes, you're the bad guy, even if you didn't do nothing wrong, even if you weren't supposed to be the bad guy. This is the conclusion on what I'm trying to get to y'all, folks. I feel like we lost so many positive black people in our lives that try to fight for the good sake of humanity, of equality, fight against oppression. You get what I'm saying? So to be honest, what is the point of being good if it costs you your dignity, respect for others, and your life? If you have to be the superhero, the Superman, you're pretty much saving the wrong person. That's what I mean in perspectives of being a good guy, being a superhero, being the underdog, being all these things. And the way how this world look in this world, they will say that those who do good will receive better. But in my eyes, it's kind of really far-fetched because of the fact that rather if you're doing the best in this world, I'm not saying that you can never achieve anything by good behavior. But what I mean is if you're trying to do something to the extreme to make life better for you and the other individual, it's like you can't please others. For what you get is criticism, pain, hurt, and betrayal. Same thing like I said with trying to find love, trying to be in a relationship. Females don't want to date a good guy. It's because they're used to being treated like crap. Or if there's somebody who has an idea how to run a country, the government feels some type of way about that because they have an idea. Or somebody who has the answers to whatever we need to fix in this world, one motherfucker or a party full of hating ass motherfuckers will feel some type of way. So in other words, it's like we have haters. It's because of the fact that we need some type of reality check for doing good things based on the reaction towards these haters. So what hating ass people do is trying to ruin something that could benefit for somebody or the whole world. And the whole world is really jaded. Humanity is very jaded to the point where they don't know the difference between good and bad anymore. Because we see so much bad, then you see what's good. So people would feed onto the bad things, the negativity, than the positivity. Everybody's following a dim light to see if this is the path towards righteousness or a path to destruction. So, by all means, folks, I feel like being the nice guy, being the good guy, being the good Samaritan, you really don't get paid to do that. Like, even with police officers, their job is to be good to the citizens, the civilians, and everything else, but they're not getting paid enough. They're abusing their power. You get what I'm saying? Being a teacher, I mean, that's a good profession. I'm not saying there's no such thing as bad teachers or there's no such thing as good teachers, but the concept of being a teacher, it doesn't pay well to uplift people's futures. You get what I'm saying? Because the system and just humanity itself was programmed to fuck some aspects of doing good. So even when you're trying to date the hottest girl ever, she'll say like, "Oh, I want me a guy who treat me like a woman," and blah blah blah. But when she meet a man, she don't know what to do with it. The first thing is to go nitpick something wrong with him and just not good enough. So, to be honest, like I said in that last quote is that no matter what you do in life, you're always the bad guy on somebody's eye because of something that you said, something that you do, or something who you are as a person. To feel that type of energy to make you feel as if you are what you think they are is the bad guy. So, we can all play the Tony Montana from the Scarface, but I can only wrap this up because to me, I know who I am. It's not just to say I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy because I know it. Because I give people a certain amount of respect that they deserve. And if they want to be treated like an asshole, and that's perfectly fine by me. But anyways, that's all I can really justify it. It's like with the Scarface, it's like, somebody had to point the finger on who's the bad guy. And you're the bad guy on somebody's eyes because they don't really get to know who you are in the inside and what is your reason why they think you're the bad guy, but really you're something different and you could have been something better than that. So, anyways, I gotta say goodnight to the good guy. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Please leave your comments on the comment sections below. Make sure you hit that bell icon and subscribe to my channel. Until then, folks, SBX wrapping this up. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.